welcome to Tiffdoesloans Podcast. Today I have Silvia Hernandez with me. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining me.
Of course.
So Silvia is with Homeowners Insurance. So with everything that has been going on, we're going to go over basically ways for you as new buyers and just current homeowners that you can get into new policies and get renewals with a lot of the insurance agencies have stopped writing policies. I'm especially in California. It's also in other states too, right?
Yes.
Okay. But mainly California is a big one that this has happened, and a lot of people have been running into issues and just don't know where to turn. So Silvia is going to help us out with this and give us some tips and tricks and just kind of guide us through the process, the best way that we can, basically pivot with
Correct.
what has been happening. The last few years have just been one giant pivot. Like, you just got to keep moving with it, keep rolling. So, Silvia, thank you so much. Why don't you just start by telling us, what led you into insurance, how long you've been doing it, and a little bit of farmers.
Sure. Okay. So I started right out of high school. I needed a job to pay for college. And so I got this job through a friend of mine.
Wow.
And it has been almost 21 years in
Wow.
September. So I've grown with it. And it all started, once I started caring more about the clients and knowing more about what insurance and how we can help clients, that definitely has driven me to learn more, to strive to help more, and to just, be there for as many people as we can,
Yep.
if it's education or, just listening to the clients, because like you said, there's so many changes going on.
Yeah.
And it's every year. It doesn't stop. And so we just pivot, and we're definitely a proactive agency. And that has been the biggest growth point for us. We've taken it as an opportunity to grow, and we definitely have. So it's been great.
100%. It's definitely forced a lot of us to grow these past few years. Like, the ones that are still going, it's like there's definitely like programs in place where they're like, motivation in the mornings, like just whole I think just, really a lot of those pivots, but most of them have been for the better.
Yes.
More education on hands, whichever company or brokerage. I know a lot of brokerages have, even ours has picked up that culture of like education, and we all kind of learn and grow together. So
Yeah.
That's one positive, one big positive from 2020 to 2024.
Yeah, for sure.
We are learning. We're going with it. Definitely made a lot of us more relaxed. So what are some pivots in the last 2 decades? So you've been
Sure.
21 years.
Yes.
So what are some of those pivots that you have made or you have seen? Or
Sure. So basically, like, we've done it. We were coasting before, and
Yeah.
we had our clients that loved us and we appreciated us, and we basically turned into, like, we were getting a lot of those, hey, my rate's going up. Hey, I'm getting, why are you asking me to take 20 pictures of my car where you've had it insured for the last 10 years? And it's
Yeah.
like the company's requesting, or not just our company, but many companies out there are requesting either pictures of the home, pictures of the cars, pictures of everything, to see what they're insuring, what risk they're insuring. And so definitely it creates more work for the client, more work for us, but we are definitely proactive. Once we see people on these lists or we get those emails from the company that says, hey, we need this, this, and this, we're very proactive. We make sure we talk to the client. We email the client. So in nowhere they feel like they were left on their own. So that has been huge, because even with the rate increases, with the, tons of paperwork every 6 months or every year, it's like they know we're there and we're looking out for them. Exactly. And because we're doing that, we're gaining so much, like, we're appointed with different companies, which has been great, because a lot of other carriers don't have the capability to write through other companies, which has closed off, all their underwriting and all that.
Like,
exactly.
Because I could do multiple lenders.
Exactly. So that helps a lot, because we can do a lot more than just a regular when they're signed with one company. Yeah. Exactly. So it's been great. It's been a learning opportunity for us. We definitely do like to, okay, what's covered, what's not, really deep into it, because that's what our clients are expecting of us. And, we care about them. So it's not just, about getting it closed and all that. It's like, no, we give them options so that they have as many, whether it's the pricing or whether it's the coverage that they're looking for or whatever, we want to make sure we do the legwork for them. Yeah. And so that's huge. We're more consultants. Yeah. And as opposed to just your 8-minute phone call to get an easy quote, it's like, no, those companies don't know what you're covered for.
You can't even do, like, nowadays, you got to pick your team in every area. There's so much going on and so many different things that are tied to different things. It's like, go to a professional, someone that's going to walk you through, because, if you just settle for that one that's like giving you a 5-minute quote, that's what you're going to get your whole experience.
Exactly.
And then it's like things are going to pop up. Like, what if they emailed them and like to send them photos and they don't know? I do have a question on that. Sure. What would merit that? What would trigger, like, is there a certain time frame? Is that like an annual thing? Or
so depends on the company. And so they were doing that at least once a year, and even some companies were doing it as they were starting the policies, and that's I think now if
you get them before, right?
You get them before.
Done that. I've sent you photos like when we're starting it.
Exactly.
So you're being proactive and just like as we're doing a new purchase.
Exactly.
Putting the photos in there.
Yes, and some companies require them. So whether it's pictures of the roof or pictures of the sides of the home or pictures from the home. So a lot of these, especially for homes, they're looking at, is there a lot of brush in the area and all that stuff. It's not just the condition of the home. It's like what's next to it that might be causing,
like maybe like if they're like in a fire zone or
exactly or like some of these homes that are new construction, new everything, like nothing's gonna happen in these from a slab leak or something like that, but it's from the outside risks that are
because like I don't know too much into the insurance. I just kind of send my clients for the quotes, or I send them to Silvia, really. But like some of them have, like, I've seen wind insurance and stuff that's like slapped on like in the middle that weren't processed, because sometimes even if you look, like, we might not know. I don't know, sometimes I've had them added on in the process, and it could be like $600, or like in Texas,
in different states,
in different states, here like, it's fire, right? Like
here is more fire,
but some are like flood
insurance.
Wind insurance is gnarly. I've seen that thing like hike up, and my borrower were like, what are we going to do? And I was like, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. You are going to call every single person off the internet, because like he kept getting quoted $600, and I was like we can't. He's like, I can't afford this. I was like, we gotta call like every single person, like Google it and call everybody, and he finally found one that like was super reasonable. I think it was like 100 and something, but the first like 6 to 8 companies told him like 600, and we're like, no, like we don't qualify, like we can't do that. So eventually like we made it, but it was gnarly.
No, it is. And that's why our recommendation is always, as soon as you get any paperwork from your insurance company, open it up, look at what they're requesting, because it's not just a suggestion. It is like, if you want to keep this policy going, you need the pictures, or you need the, you know, whatever it is that they're requesting, please do it. And then, you know, like we say, like, we're always going to try to find you the best option. But if, you know, we don't like the situation where if there's somebody that's offering you a full policy versus our CalFair and, you know, another policy.
CalFair.
Yeah. Well,
CalFair,
you know, well, if they're offering you a full policy, we're always going to recommend, hey, do that, because we're always in the best interest of the client. We try to, because we know so many people are not. And then I got a client reached out for a quote yesterday. I sent him out over. It was a full policy, you know, all that. And then they sent me at nighttime, they sent me an email with like just the bare minimum coverage from somebody who offered them another one. And I was like, read the fine print. And I sent them the fine print. And it said it needed a CalFair. And I was like, yeah, that's, you know.
I know. I tell them too. And what happened when we were in process that one time, like, that shouldn't be happening, like with the wind. But it's because sometimes, like, now I have you to where I just, like, I let them go shop. Like, hey, if you want to shop, but like, first let's if you want to use my girl, I'm going to get you connected, and you kind of do that full run through. I mean, and they've all been choosing you, like price, service, you know, whatever it may be. But, and I let them, like, hey, still go shop. But when that happened with that wind insurance, it was like, he just got a quote online. See, didn't have the walkthrough. Like, it's so crucial. So I do see the difference. See, because that CalFair, if they just would have went online, that probably would have hit us and really hurt us in process. Like, even that person. So, can you tell our audience a little bit what CalFair is, and then we'll get into the next.
Sure, it's sort of like a last resort.
Not CalFire.
Not CalFire. CalFair.
I kept leaving little fire emojis. CalFire, and
so we got it right.
She kept writing out fair, and I was like, I think I'm doing it wrong. Eventually, by the 6th time, I got it. It's
California Fair Plan. So it's a program offered by the state of California, and it's basically fire insurance for fire, smoke. They offer vandalism, so certain risks that a regular insurance company will not cover. They will offer this, and then we have to do a secondary policy that's basically like a wraparound that will offer liability and coverage for like sudden burst of water, stuff like that. So basically with these two policies, you're making one that, you know, but they have to be companion. Like they can't be sold just on their, you know, because
and these are going to be, but these it could get pretty pricey, but they're more going to be like up north, like more just in more like fire areas, like if there's a lot of, like, I don't know, dirt and trees and stuff.
So some are those,
like, maybe not, it's not like I just did another one more in the city, and like you weren't required, but if you're required.
Exactly. If no other insurance company will offer you a policy, and that can be not just for the fire reason, but also for too many claims. An insurance company might, you know, if you have 2 claims, it's nearly impossible to find coverage right now for a home with too many losses. So then your only resource would be a California Fair Plan situation, and it's still approved, you know, and all that. So there are certain cases where homes down south and, you know, in all areas of California will need it. But we've seen some areas in Riverside as well need it. We've seen some down south. So it all depends what comes up and what's available in that zip code. So because certain companies are closed in zip codes, like they've taken their max and they're capped out, and you're just going to have to try the rest. So, yeah.
Just see what,
see what's available at this point. But we will do the legwork.
Yeah, but at least like if you're working with somebody like you, if you're not sending, I think should always be a red flag in this process. Like in anywhere, if you're trying to purchase a home and you're not sending in any documentation, like that's just a red flag. The more you send up front, the smoother the process is going to be.
Correct.
And like 100%. And then see if you just take a couple photos, send them in early and send them in the beginning. Now you probably just saved yourself from having that pop-up email in like a year, or like they're already good maybe in the next, you might have saved yourself like another year or two.
Exactly.
So it definitely and I try to I set that expectation for them and try to get everything up front, but then we have less during process, so it's key.
Yeah, and then the inspection reports really help. So anytime that you have those ready, send those over to the agent, and that also helps because it helps us figure out the features of the home, so we can
so you
put
might
in all
even
that
be able
stuff.
to save them a little bit.
Yeah.
Like even if you quoted them and then go into policy, like if I had that inspection.
Yes, and then most companies do
help.
their own inspections anyway.
Okay.
It's rare that they don't. So I know our companies do the inspection afterwards, and sometimes they come back even higher on the reconstruction, especially nowadays when they're factoring in that. So that's why we're trying to keep those amounts higher, because they do go out there and do the inspections. Yeah.
So like right now, can you tell us a little bit about like what is happening right now? Like why I know a lot of people just see, a lot of social media and it's like no insurance is like insuring in California, and everyone's like, that's their insurance. Like what do you mean you're not writing policies, Like what is happening? So, like, can you kind of dive into that more,
Sure.
kind of where we are right now, and then how you can assist?
Sure. So a lot of insurance companies are either leaving the state or closing off, like I said, certain zip codes or certain areas, or just they're trying to see whether they, get more rate in, from, all of that stuff. So what we're trying to do is see what companies are available. And like I said, we try to get appointed with as many companies as possible that are staying open.
Okay.
And we started that process 2-3 years ago when we started having to use the California Fair Plan more and more.
Okay.
We were looking for options for our clients way ahead of it, and now, a year later, it's like, that's why we're getting so many referrals, so many calls. And like, our office is open from 8:30 to 5:30, Monday to Friday. We're picking up the phone. There's no answering machine. It's us. And that is huge because so many are like, you're the first person that just answered the phone. You're the first person out of these first 10 that have answered the phone, and so, and if we have lender friends like you guys and realtor friends like you guys have my personal cell phone, you guys send them all that stuff. So I'm like, and I'm always on the go, whether it's work or whether it's mommy or whether it's life. I'm always like, okay.
I know, but you're still so fast. I'll text her at like 4:30, like, hey, I have these new clients, like, boom, send her everything. And then it's like by the end of the day, she'll have it to me.
Yeah,
like,
and we try to. And that's why we have a team to do it. And that's what we're in growth mode. Like, this has pushed us, and it's great because I came from, like, we were coasting the first few years, and then I'm like, okay, and it's been such a great thing because I am a competitive person. I want to be there for the clients. I want to, be the mom that I want to be and also be the person I want to be. But it also allows me to do, like, when I'm in work mode, I'm in work mode. And I'm going to be there for the client. I'm going to be there to see how many options. Exactly. Exactly. For so many, because the insurance world is what it is right now. And it's going to continue to change. Some more companies are going to close, more are going to open. So it's going to be a lot more movement. So we're just going with it. We're just learning and growing.
What about, so purchase, it's like, it's best if they have somebody like me or somebody to refer, or farmers is still, so purchase, it's like, they just got to find somebody still writing policies, basically. What about the people that are already homeowners and then they go to, which is, stressful, but if they go to refinance, and then they might not be able to, it doesn't just slide over. Like they'll have to basically, they have to renew it then?
So it depends.
Does it depend on company?
Exactly. So if some of these companies are getting downgraded or depending on, if they're not offering a policy going forward, and while they're doing the refinance they need a full year, then that's when they would need to do a new policy. So it is a big change. I would say as soon as you start the refinance process,
make sure
you need to start shopping it. You need to make sure that's one of the things that's done.
Opening.
Exactly.
Or staying open. They're still going to have your back, because then you might not, and then you're in process.
Exactly. And you need to make sure all those documents are in. So anytime, if you're in escrow, if you're starting any of that paperwork, please start looking around for coverage, because right now there's so many requirements. Like for our new business, some companies are requiring like a leak detection system to be installed within the first year. These are type of things that like a lot of companies are going to do either at renewal or at new business or whatever. And it's a lot of the companies. So definitely it's very different from before. So you need to make sure you start early.
It's like a bigger checklist. Huh?
Yes. It's just more. But, if you have people that like, we'll get the list. I'm like, okay, you need to remind this person that this document needs to be in order to get a renewal, all that stuff, because we want to make sure we have coverage for the client.
And I think it's so important too. I mean, same thing with like realtors, and like find your team, like get the referral, yes. and I never like push my partners on them, but I will leave that, like if it's a realtor or for you too, I always let them know like, hey, like, you can still shop, but ultimately, they've all been picking you. I'm like, I wouldn't just go online. Yeah. But it's a lot. It's like you want to make sure that you have that policy together, because if anything happens, and then how the market has been and just how things have been unfolding, it's like, everything is going up and everything is getting more, more expensive. So the less pop-ups that you have, the better.
Yeah, and the insurance bill is going to be a big one when, it comes to closing and all that stuff.
Does it change every year? Like,
yes.
Like, so, okay.
Yes, every renewal you should expect a rate increase on there. Sometimes
what
more
would the
than
rate
less.
Be? Like, what's in the insurance world? Like, is it like an interest rate? Like, how is that rate?
So basically, they a lot of these water losses have, and not just not fire. You would be surprised. A lot of people are like, I'm not in a fire area. I'm not, in a brush area.
Yeah.
I'm not. But it's like the losses for water that were paid out for in that zip code or in that area affected. So certain zip codes like that have not been touched in like with a rate increase or a big one in Southern California are now going up 2-3 times what they used to be.
So man,
that has been
would that be somewhere like Barstow or something?
No, well, the ones that I've seen are like in Yorba Linda, San Clemente, like all of these areas
so
that I was
kind of like flew under the radar.
Yeah, well, they had not been hit with like big rate increases or whatever. So definitely that's one of the things that like we were surprised, and we're like, okay, now it's like, let's try to.
Is that going to be different at each place?
Yes.
So like if a client did get hit with like all these fees, they could just, or like at the end of the year, they could just go get a new policy somewhere else, right?
Yeah. So like, we usually shop it around for our clients. We usually look at, okay, maybe they had $1,000 deductible. Yeah. That's not
like, maybe they don't need that.
Yeah.
But
maybe they can take a higher one, or we can bundle now. Maybe before we only had the home, now we can bundle it with the autos or whatever. So we can see what we can do. And if they can't, or they're not getting offered a renewal, then we can go and shop it around for them.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not going down,
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. But now the price to rebuild a home, it's 2 or 3 times the price that it was before. Before we were averaging, let's say an average home, the cost to rebuild was maybe $200 per square foot. There's no way. Now in this market, you're not rebuilding that for less than $350 per square foot.
I just saw a statistic, or they said that it's now cheaper to build a new home than it is to like buy one, or like I guess get an older one. So
here in California, because of the market value,
yeah,
because
that's what I'm thinking, like,
that's
that. I don't know what state that. Don't quote me. I don't know. That was just like a broad thing that I heard in passing, but I mean, I'm seeing it a lot and a lot more where it's like we might as well just wait a little bit and build, because a lot of our people going out shopping, if they are older, they're also looking like there's less inventory out, and then when they go and look, they're like, okay, but how much money are we gonna have to put into it too?
Exactly.
You know, so it's like I definitely know that has that, especially out here in California, or like where we are, a lot of them haven't been remodeled in a while.
Exactly.
But you know, because we have the location, so we don't need to.
Exactly.
California has the location. So it's like, you know, I think we get like the California market gets away with a lot more because of the location.
The location. Yeah.
It's like, nope, you're going to take this for $2 million with a smile on your face. $2 million. But then, you know, the appreciation, you can't get it anywhere else. So
exactly.
Or the weather. So it's like, just do it.
Exactly.
And okay, so how about like final question here, just kind of looking ahead.
Sure.
How do our clients best prepare?
Okay.
Like,
well,
for the rest of the year.
Find an agent. Find an agent, even if you're not writing your policies through them or whatever. Find somebody who knows. You know, it's just the best thing. Like, find people that are smart, that like know their business and can guide you. And you can talk to, you know, 1 to 2, whatever. Get educated on it. It's not going to be an easy fix. Like we said, everybody is going up. Everybody is either closing or making amends to how they want to, you know, fix up the home or whatever. You know, that's why they're doing re-inspections of policies that are already in force. But definitely it's not going to change. I would say there's going to be a lot more of, you know, pictures and a lot more underwriting, you know, and I would say just find somebody who knows.
Denials?
We don't see
denials,
see a lot of
I feel like I've never had like somebody get denied.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of those, but we also, like, if the condition of the home is bad, then we won't write it, you know, if it's something that's falling apart and blah,
what
blah.
What if it's like for fix and flippers or something? Like, do they not have it insured for that time, or do you guys do some of them to a certain extent?
Because we can do the policies,
would it be a different one?
Yes.
Like, kind of like a rehab. Does it fall under, so if you're rehabbing your home, but like for the fix and flippers, like
it'd be a course of construction policy.
It can't, like, it has to have a roof, right?
Exactly. They know how much, and we have to submit documentation of like, okay, this is how much we're going to be putting into it. These are our plans. Have you gotten some
photos that like from some of your investors that's like the roof's missing? There's like no flooring. You're like, okay, Dave, we can't do that. Like, it's got to have, like, it still has to have the foundational, right?
Exactly. Okay. And I would say before you start the work, get the policy. Okay, that's always our way to do it.
Even if you're gonna go into the contract.
Yes.
If you're going to get the contract.
Yeah. And by then you already have
that's when you need
an
insurance agent, like in your pocket, like has a cell phone.
Exactly.
Yeah. You need your person.
Exactly.
If you're going to be doing that. But yeah, I was curious. But that's also going to vary between, right? Like,
exactly.
Like, you know, and then maybe if they have a portfolio, is there, do you guys kind of look at that, or is that part of underwriting? Like, maybe if they have a good track record of like a lot of homes, like, I don't know, will you maybe, even if it's like, oh, this one's really borderline, will you maybe still insure it? Like, is it exception based?
Yeah, so that's how we provide the
Like, if you
pictures and
have-
everything. All of that stuff gets sent into them, and we put it out to different companies. So
Does
especially
the person matter though? Like, if they have a good portfolio.
So if they don't have any past claims, especially liability, especially anything like that, we do look at their past loss history and all that. And that's for anybody buying a home or anything like that. We look at all that.
I mean, that's good. As long as you have a good record, but it's the same thing with us. I can always at least, if we're trying to get an exception, if you have a strong portfolio, or not a lot of we might be able to get you an exception if we could prove they're doing it. It's all gonna go together. But that's good to know. I never really thought of that, the underwriting for insurance.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work. That's why we ask for the pictures. We ask for as much documentation.
I know. I think I redo the work sometimes, and then I didn't even need it, so I felt really bad.
It's all right. It's all right.
I did. That was the last one, because we were gonna close early. So now I know for next time. I'll touch base with everybody before I call you. But I thought I was doing due diligence, making sure
you were doing what you were supposed to do.
What we could do. But thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Silvia. I'm going to have all of her farmers insurance below. If this was helpful, please feel free to reach out, share, comment, subscribe. And just thank you so much for helping us out. And hopefully we can get more people into these homes insured and just keep it moving along, even through all of the battles that we've it's like walking an uphill the past few years in just the whole industry, left and right. It's never just one. It's always loans. It's either the loan officers, the realtors, or insurance. So it's great to know that we're all working together, and we're all trying to come up with solutions and still make it the easiest, smoothest process for you as buyers, sellers, investors. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So much.